Over the last year and a half, we've watched the country spiral. Everything's more expensive thanks to inflation. Gas prices are going up again. Borders still wide open. Crime so bad, nobody feels safe. And we can thank Biden and the Democrats for it. In just a few years, they've managed to make life as difficult as possible for you. And the worst part about it is they don't care. They've ignored you. They want you to suck it up. Who cares if you can't pay your bills or you're afraid to ride the subway? According to Democrats, everything is fine. But they're living in an alternate reality because we're fed up. We know everything isn't fine. In fact, a recent poll found that the two main issues on the minds of Americans, inflation and crime. What do you know? The two issues Democrats have a horrible record on. And that means the midterms are going to be interesting. People want results. And if anything is going to change, they need to get out and vote. It's a month away from the midterms, and Primetime wanted to show you where we stand. Republicans hold a 1-point advantage on retaking the House, but what that really means is that Republicans are going to retake the House. It's just a matter of by how many seats. These polls are mostly all garbage, and they undercount conservatives. So what you want to do is look at the trend lines. And as you can see, the Republicans are surging and closing hard and have all the momentum on their side. I'm not worried about the House at all. We're going to have a healthy majority with a little cushion to operate, so let's turn to the Senate. And these are the key races to watch. Pennsylvania is critical for Republicans. Right now, the Real Clear Politics average shows Dr. Oz trailing Fetterman by 4 points. Again, the polls are trash. The race is much closer than that. You got to look at the trend lines again. Oz was down 9 points a month ago, and now he's cut the lead in half and is just down 4. And if Dr. Oz doesn't beat Fetterman, he won't be able to show his face around town because Fetterman is pathetic. This is a guy who mooched off his parents until he was 50, dresses worse than a wrestling coach, and can't talk because he just had a stroke. And his policies are even worse than his appearance. He wants to ban oil and gas, release second-degree murderers from prison, and he's for castrating kindergartners. Plus, he's a liar.
The truth is that we in Braddock, as mayor, in a community with significant gun violence issues, I ran to be mayor for that reason. And for 5.5 years, we stopped the killing and the gun violence. We stopped it. And that has never been accomplished before or since I was time as mayor.
So let me get this straight. Fetterman is claiming that in 5 years, there's zero violence in Pennsylvania where he was mayor. Crime in Braddock skyrocketed during his time in office. In 2017, robberies, property crimes, violent crimes, they all surged. Crime didn't start going down until Fetterman left office in 2019. His town got safer when he wasn't in charge of it anymore. I think he's confused. Maybe he thought when he chased black men out of town with a shotgun, he was stopping crime.
Heard approximately a dozen or more what clearly sounded like assault rifle gunshots go off.
Mayor John Fetterman says he rushed his son inside, called 911, and took off in his truck after a masked man in black he saw running. But Chris Mayeras, the man Fetterman confronted, turns out to be an innocent jogger who police say had no weapon.
There wasn't any assault rifle shots. It was bottle rockets behind the library.
Mayor Fetterman did have a weapon.
A 20-gauge shotgun under the back seat of my truck, which I pulled out and I showed to just say, look, we're going to wait here and we're going to get this all sorted out when the police arrive.
Mayeras and the mayor tell very different stories. He says Fetterman
followed me into North Braddock and pulled a shotgun and aimed it at my chest.
So Democrats can chase innocent blacks around with shotguns as long as they follow orders from Crying Chuck. Fetterman will say anything to get elected. Watch.
My name is John Fetterwoman.
The guy can say Fetterwoman, but if you ask him to string a few sentences together, it's not good.
It's such the most important race for the Senate here for 22. We have to replace Pat Toomey. Senator Toomey was not very nice to me. Pat Toomey is a miracle.
We feel bad for the guy. He needs to recover from his stroke, not serve in the Senate. He'll be eaten alive in D.C. China's already licking their chops. Another critical race Georgia. Raphael Warnock, a radical reverend, is facing off against former NFL star Herschel Walker. The Real Clear average has Walker down 4. Now, I don't believe that. I believe it's a tied race. But the trend lines are going against Walker, so he needs to turn that around. A tabloid rag just accused him of paying for an ex-girlfriend's abortion. He denied it.
I can tell you right now, I never asked anyone to get an abortion. I never paid for an abortion, and it's a lie. And I'm going to continue to fight. You know, I tell you, that's what they want. They want this seat.
Domestic issues are a big factor in the Georgia race because Warnock was accused of running his ex-wife's foot over with his car.
I barely moved, and all of a sudden she's screaming that I ran over her foot. I don't believe it.
This man's running for United States Senate, and all he cares about right now is his reputation. I've been trying to be very quiet about the way that he is for the sake of my kids and his reputation. I've tried to keep the way that he acts under wraps for a long time, and today he crossed the line. So that is what is going on here, and he's a great actor.
Warnock's raking in millions in outside money, so Walker's in for a dogfight. The Reverends for partial birth abortion wants to take away your guns and give them to IRS agents. Plus, he never scored a single NFL touchdown. Trump backed Herschel Walker and Dr. Oz big time, and they better come through or it's not going to look very good. If Republicans lose both of those races, they have no shot of winning the Senate. They have to take at least one of them. Let's head out west, where Blake Masters up against Mark Kelly, the astronaut. Masters has been on Primetime a few times, and he has what it takes. He needs a little more money. He's down 4 right now in the average. Again, I don't buy these polls, but he has momentum if you look at the trend lines. Mark Kelly's a puppet. He's masquerading as an independent, but he votes with Biden every time. Look at him here get tongue-tied.
Has he done a good job, do you think?
Hey, first of all, it's not my job to give him a report card. I would say, mixed reviews.
So if he came out here, held an event, you'd attend that event.
Oh,
I
would certainly consider it.
Consider is not.
I would look at it.
I'd look at it. Now let's head north to Wisconsin. Ron Johnson, you guys know Ron Johnson. He's up against Mandela Barnes. Johnson's up 3, and Barnes' trend lines are tanking because crime's now front and center in Wisconsin. Barnes wants to defund the police.
We need to invest more in neighborhood services and programming for our residents, for our communities on the front end. Where will that money come from? Well, it can come from over-bloated budgets in police departments, and that reality is possible.
I'm pretty comfortable with Johnson winning Wisconsin and Republicans winning their Senate races in Nevada, Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina. It's all going to come down to Pennsylvania and Georgia. Republicans have to win at least one of those races for the Senate to go red. The House is rock solid Republican. There's no doubt about it. The landscape is favorable. Crime, illegal immigration, and inflation are dominating. And now gas prices are surging, and Democrats are on their heels. But they have a lot of money. So this is going to be down to the wire.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.